Alana and I were at a fancy restaurant when I saw my best friend and oldest friend walking up to our table. "Remember, Terence Landis is coming here," I quickly told my wife in a whisper. "I told you he's been my best friend since second grade, and it's true. But be careful around him, because he really likes women." "Thank goodness, I should be okay," Alana answered quietly. "Isn't he that friend of yours who was very rich?" After giving my wife a nod, I stood up to shake Terence's hand. He gave me a bear-sized hug. In such a public place, it felt a little weird. "Tim, I'm so glad to see you again," Terence said. "It's been a long time since we spent time together." He looked at Alana slowly from head to toe, focusing on her beautiful breasts. "May I guess that this is Alana, your lovely wife? I sent a gift because I was in Singapore when you married her. I hope you had fun. You're the friend who sent him that new pickup truck, aren't you?" Alana yelled, getting up and extending her arms for a hug. Terence pulled me aside politely but firmly to hug Alana. "Alana, this is my best friend Terence," I said. "Dear Terence, this is my wife Alana. I told her many things about you." Alana quickly pointed out. "You never said that he was so tall and good-looking." She hugged Terence for longer than I thought a married woman should. "What brings you to Daytona, Terence?" "The house I just bought in the dunes is being fixed up for me. I'm renting a room at a nearby hotel and came home by myself for dinner." "You bought an apartment in the dunes and are fixing it up? They look almost brand new. I don't see how they could be changed," Alana replied. "That's right," Terence said. "But their bedrooms are small. I feel like they're squished together. I was lucky that there was a free apartment that I could take. I'm going to paint it and get new furniture." For me, it was clear that Terence was doing everything he could to please Alana. He always knew what a woman liked and caught her attention right away. Alana was a very business-minded girl. I made a good living and had a few dollars saved, but Alana seemed set to send us to the poorhouse. Even though it was our third wedding anniversary, she seemed to be paying more attention to Terence than to me. It was so clear that some of the guests looked at me with concern. I told Alana, "It looks like the waiter is bringing our food. We should sit down and eat while it's still hot." I did this so that we could focus on each other again. Alana didn't disagree with anything I said, but when she saw our steaks, she raised the stakes. "Trevor, you should come with us. Tim always says nice things about you, and I wish I knew you better. The best friend of my husband is also my friend." "I hate to ruin a romantic dinner," Terence said, and I nodded to show that I understood what he was saying. Alana stepped in right away and said, "Wait, Terence will be joining us for dinner. Could you help him set the table?" "Thanks a lot." The waiter quickly turned around and left to look for something. Terence was at our table in less than a minute and took over the talk. During the time that he and Alana talked about anything, I won a game of solitaire on my phone. I didn't pay much attention to what they were saying until Alana said to me, "Tim, we have 2 free rooms. Let's ask Terence to stay with us. You and your friend could keep making up for lost time. When Terence's apartment is ready in about a week, he'll be able to try cooking at home." "No, this won't be a bother at all." I was shocked when Alana said that. Did she think Terence would like the food she cooked? I was sure she would get takeout from fancy places that cost a lot of money and serve it on her best china. Since I knew Terence well, I was sure he'd be eating at the Y by the end of the week. It would be a great place for any food lover to eat. Helen, my first wife, died after 22 years of marriage. Terence and she were very good friends, so I never had to worry about them acting badly. Helen was a wonderful wife who was always there for her husband. Sadly, she died of a sudden heart attack 5 years ago. I was sad for more than a year before I met Alana at a charity event. She didn't seem to mind that she was 11 years younger than me. I asked her to marry me soon after, and we were married for 3 years. Alana was married for the second time. She split up with her first husband because she said she caught him cheating on her. That's the only thing I would never do, cheat on my wife. Alana knew it. Alana seemed to be able to persuade Terence to stay with us without having to say much. She even showed a lot of cleavage as she leaned in close to concentrate on what he was saying. Of course, Terence didn't have to get up early to go to work. This curse is for people like us who don't have a lot of money saved up. Alana hasn't had a job since she and her first husband split up. It looks like she did a good job with the breakup. She made me sign a prenuptial agreement that said I would never take her money, even after we got married. This was fine with me because I had a good job and investments that gave me a steady income. Even more friendly than they were at the diner the night before, Alana and Terence seemed to be at home Monday night. It was time for dinner, and it was really tasty. I looked in the trash can and, as I thought, it had containers from a nearby restaurant. Terence and Alana were so caught up in their own little world that they didn't even notice when I left the living room, went up the stairs, and went to bed, angry. They weren't looking at me, so I didn't feel ashamed. I was shocked when I got home Wednesday night and Alana was already there, waiting for me. It seemed like she needed that expensive seat right next to her, which I thought was too close for a friend. "Tim, we need to talk," Alana said as her first phrase. Again, it caught me off guard. It was just a Wednesday. What the hell was Terence doing to get his magic done so fast? I already knew he was good at everything he did, but this really stood out. "It will cost me more than a few dollars, I was sure of it. Terence and I found that we had a lot in common," Alana said. "We did not want this to happen, but it did. There's no denying how strongly we feel about each other, even though we both feel bad about this. Tim, I'm going to get a divorce from you. As soon as it's over, I'll marry Terence. Do not try to talk me out of this. That ass wiper couldn't keep his dick in his pants and you couldn't keep your legs together? I'm not giving up my house or half my savings for that. I swore. I will fight you until the end." Even though I didn't believe it in myself at all. "This is so typical of a little insecure person," Alana said under her breath. "Plus, it wasn't money that got me married, and I don't want it when we split up. We both agree that the split will go much more quickly if I just leave with the money I brought to the marry edge. Tim, what do you think? Is this reason enough for me to get a divorce quickly?" Alana asked for it. "What do you want me to sign?" I parried a little. "I knew you cared more about money than I did. I'll be with Terence for a few nights while we wait for the painter to come and paint his flat," Alana said. "I don't want to hear any complaints, whining, crying, or whining." I just nodded, turned around, and went into the next pub. When three people are very angry about the divorce and one of them is very wealthy, it's amazing how quickly the courts can rule on it. After a few months, I was back to being single. After my divorce was final, I went back to the restaurant where Alana and I had gone when she met Terence for the first time. I saw him sitting at a table for two and joined him right away. "Do you want to kiss my feet here in the restaurant or wait for a more private setting?" Terence asked with a big smile on his face. I wasn't calm. "I have no idea how you're so happy. You were being a jerk to Alana when you asked her to marry you. Now she can sue you for cheating, breaking a promise, or just plain lying to her," Terence said. "That won't happen, as he always does. You don't see the big picture. Why don't you enlighten me, then? Alana is a stubborn, mean, and evil little devil, that's all I know about her. When you asked her to marry you, you didn't feel that way, did you?" With a laugh, Terence asked. "Think about it. What was the last thing that made you feel like you had to get rid of her?" "I don't know, maybe it was because her personal trainer worked with her 3 times a week. She grabbed me by the throat and held me there for some reason. I would have given her half of the money and spousal support if I had asked for a divorce, even if it was for cheating. That's why I asked you for help. You were so good at getting her to ask for a divorce by Wednesday. I had no idea you could do that." I added, "Your line of crap must have gotten even better over the years." "It has more to do with how much better my collection is now than it was before. She was able to charm me right away once she found out how much money I had. I'll miss having her under the covers, I have to say. Having sex with your wife was one of the best times of my life," Terence happily revealed. I honestly replied, "It was this unique skill of hers that drew me into this story. You did a great job getting rid of that jerk who was after my money." Don't you care about how she feels about the fact that you broke up with her without ever getting married? Even though she's a whore, she's smart enough to figure out the whole plan. Don't forget that I talked about the big picture? He asked Terence. As an engagement gift, I gave Alana a weekend at the Ritz with a spa day included. I spat at him. You're a fool. Didn't I tell you that personal trainer Alana Stud now works as a massage therapist at the Ritz? She might have run into him. What are you saying? Terence said. I ordered it for her when I was planning the spa. I went to see her last night just to see how happy she was with my gift. I had a key because I paid for the room. I was lucky that my phone was already set to video. That's why I found her so pleased with my present. Did she go with him? Have a video? Did she lie to you? I dealt with it by slowly putting my thoughts in order. You must have been very upset, perhaps angry enough to break off the engagement? Alana was crushed by my harsh attitude, Terence said with a smile. That was the first time she did something like that. It won't happen again. I agreed with what she said. I will not have this happen to me. She's buying and returning my gifts right now, at least when she's not crying and swearing. You owe me dinner because you made her say she wants a divorce on Wednesday, Terence said with a big smile. Brother, you saved me a lot of money. I'd love to take you out to dinner because you've always been there for me. Alana doesn't know anything about relationships, but you do,